first, if you park outside, you'll need a few extra minutes maybe to clear the frost off your window today.
Yeah, and make sure you clear all of it off. I don't want to see videos of people with just like that one little hole, so you can only see that. No, clear it all off. Be safe as you're heading out this morning. And you will, need the ice scraper. That's something I haven't said in a very long time, it feels like. So budget an extra 5 to 10 minutes this morning as we are dealing with that widespread frost. We have clear skies across the area, and we are very, very cold. 18 degrees in Salem, 19 degrees in Campbellsville. Most of us sitting into the low 20s. While it is 30 degrees at the airport in Louisville, most of us in the metro are in the low 20s right now. So keep that in mind as you're getting ready to head out. And by the way, Sellersburg and Crestwood, you've both now dropped to 19 degrees. Just layer up, people. As you're heading out today, we are seeing the clear skies across the region right now. That certainly is helping with the frost and the cold temperatures that we're dealing with this morning. But all the sunshine that we're going to see along with that blue sky today will help us to warm into the 50s for your highs this afternoon. And I'm just going to keep reminding you of this, especially if you are allergic to tree pollen. For today and tomorrow, those levels are going to remain high. But with rain moving through on our Thursday, that will help to drop down our pollen counts quite a bit as we get towards the end of the work week. I'll talk about those rain chances coming our way in just a bit.
All right, more on that breaking news we're following this morning. A crash on the Watterson ramp to Brownsboro Road, impacting traffic. Kathleen Ninke with more on this Wave News Alert.
Impacting a lot of traffic, Shannon. They've got Brownsboro Road closed in both directions there at the westbound ramp going onto Brownsboro from 264. So they've got all the lanes blocked on Brownsboro, and obviously we've got traffic blocked on that ramp as well. So here's the scene right now. Really, you just see it's empty and blocked. A little bit of emergency vehicles over there. So I found a couple images from earlier where you can see the crash itself a little bit better. TriMark says 3 vehicles involved in that image. Let's go to the next one where we get a little closer. You very clearly see those 2 vehicles that are quite obviously involved. So again, we don't know if anyone, if this is a fatal crash. We don't know if anyone's hurt. We haven't gotten that information yet from Kentucky State Police, but Kentucky State Police are on the scene. So we're expecting an update hopefully soon. Estimated delay of about an hour, for now. So probably just find a different way to go at this point. Shannon, we'll get you updates as they come in.
That's great. Thank you, Kathleen. And we have a crew headed to that scene right now, too. The Kentucky Senate could vote today on a sweeping bill that bans gender-affirming care for those under the age of 18. House Bill 470 has had some revisions, and it now includes other measures impacting a student's pronoun usage and allowed bathrooms in schools. The Senate's Families and Children Committee added clauses to House Bill 470. It would ban school teachers from discussing gender identity or sexual orientation with students and force districts to create bathroom policies for transgender students. Schools would also not be allowed to offer instructions on sexuality or sexually transmitted diseases before the 6th grade. Discussion in Senate committee, where the bill ultimately passed, was heated on both sides.
Parents are demanding and expecting that we have policies in place at the school board level to handle situations of boys and girls in restrooms and in locker rooms and in shower rooms, of that expectation of privacy and also an expectation of safety.
4 hours of hearings, not a parent, not a PTA official, not a school superintendent, not a principal, not a teacher, nobody, a counselor, nobody came to Frankfort and said, we need a bill like this. You're doing it because you can.
If it passes, it would go back to the House where they would approve the changes. Republican lawmakers just have a few days now to get the bill to Governor Beshear's desk before they would lose their opportunity to override his likely veto. A bill aimed at restricting drag shows did not pass the House. House Bill 115 had provisions to restrict drag shows and label them as adult-only performances. Last night in Louisville, a group including drag performers and local LGBTQ+ members gathered to celebrate that failed vote. They called it "Drag is Not a Crime," and they invited other organizations, including members of city government. Supporters of the bill say the goal is to protect children from things they deem obscene, but many performers say the bill unfairly targeted not just their occupation, but way of life.
There is so much vagueness in the language of the bill that it just leaves too much room open.
All of our citizens are citizens, and they have civil rights. And the right to free speech, which is also the way that you dress, is a part of that.
The bill needs 3 readings on separate days to be able to pass out of the House. So as of right now, it does not appear there will be enough time for the bill to get the attention it needs for lawmakers to override a veto. But there is still the possibility it could then get married to another similar bill that has already gone through readings. A bill that would establish a medical marijuana program in Kentucky jumped a huge hurdle in Frankfort. Senate Majority Leader Damon Thayer approved passing the medical marijuana bill out of committee. He says the future, though, is uncertain in the full Senate, but if passed, this would allow Kentuckians to use marijuana to help with certain chronic medical issues. The bill would take effect in July of next year to give the state time to get everything in order. The House has passed versions of this law a couple of times in years, but it has not been able to clear the Senate. It now goes there for a full vote. And a bill designed to create a reading center to improve literacy in Kentucky had a late-day edition earlier this week. The amendment, among other things, suggests taking a look at Jefferson County Public Schools. Should that be split into multiple districts? It was added to this bill, which was a proposal to add a statewide research center. It would have also commissioned an audit of JCPS. The superintendent testified against that bill yesterday morning. He says breaking up the district would hinder the work JCPS has done to improve.
Now, the problem is they've just been passed, and we need time to implement that to make change. That's what we have to do in order to be successful. They have been passed by our board. Our Board of Education has been with us on this, and it is going to make significant difference for the kids of Jefferson County.
That bill did not pass out of committee. The superintendent said he is ready for an audit, saying that it wouldn't show anything the district does not already know. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg says a new agreement will increase accountability and transparency within LMPD. Metro Police and the Louisville Office of the Inspector General say they're going to enhance investigations into civilian complaints against the city's police force. It comes after the release of the U.S. Department of Justice's investigation that detailed years of abuse by Louisville police officers. The agreement requires officers to go to witness interviews requested by the Inspector General. It also gives the office access to body cam footage related to LMPD incidents under investigation. The mayor says this will help rebuild trust between the police and the community.
Our goal is to make LMPD the most trained, trusted, and transparent police department in America. And today's announcement is an important step in the right direction, especially when it comes to trust and transparency.
That agreement goes into effect immediately. LMPD will amend their policies and procedures to comply with this new agreement.
No parent ever dreams that anything like that would ever happen, that you would lose your child, because you always just assume that you would go first.
That mother in shock after her daughter was killed in a crash on the Clark Memorial Bridge over the weekend. 21-year-old Mackenzie Carpenter was in the car with her boyfriend Trenton Davis going across that bridge Saturday afternoon, and police say Davis was drunk and crashed into one of the bridge's steel supports. Carpenter's parents wanted to share her story, hoping that it can show the consequences of drunk driving. They say they're all feeling the loss. They have 4 sons and they had 2 daughters, including Mackenzie. The mom says Mackenzie and her sister were best friends, and her parents say she had a giving spirit and was someone you could laugh with.
She lived her life the way she wanted to, you know. She led a full 21 years, but in that 21 years, she really just touched a lot of people, and I'm just glad that she did. I just hope everybody has good memories of her.
Police say Davis was speeding and had a blood alcohol level of .095 in the legal limits. In Indiana and Kentucky is .08. He is charged with murder. And friends are trying to help the family with this GoFundMe to assist with funeral expenses. If you'd like to go to wave3.com, we have a link. 6:09 now on this Wednesday. Here's Tawana.
And over the next 12 hours, we're going to be keeping an eye on, of course, the sunshine, but of course not looking directly into that sun unless it does come up. Temperature's going to go from those teens and 20s where we are now into the low to mid 50s for highs later on this afternoon. So pretty decent warm up coming our way. We'll talk about the rain chances moving in as we get into tomorrow afternoon in just a bit.
Okay, have you heard of the Dirty Dozen when it comes to fruits and veggies? This year's Shopper's Guides to Pesticides was just released, and some of your favorites could be on the list. We're going to break it down for you coming up.
This newscast is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. There's only one. This is Wave News Sunrise.
We're talking all about a Kentucky specialty this morning, burgoo. The second annual Burgoo Bash is happening this Saturday. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell is live at Against the Grain, where this will take place. And how many different burgoos are they going to have there?
Shannon, that's a great question. I wish I had an answer for you, but I will tell you, you can try Janine's burgoo here because she's telling me all about it, and you told me it's pretty simple to make too, right?
It really is simple. So it has a long history, and I think that every Kentuckian should have the basic recipe, and I'd love to show you the basic recipe today.
Yeah, what do we have here?
So first off, you want to start with chicken, pork, beef, and lamb or mutton if you can get your hands on it.
Okay.
So those are the essential meats of burgoo. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put that into the pot. You just take that, put it right into the pot, and you can make this in an Instant Pot. You can make this in a slow cooker. It's whatever you choose. And then just as our forefathers may have done, it's whatever you have in the pantry at that point. Now you can go super easy and just use mixed frozen vegetables.
Okay.
So that's super easy. You definitely want to add some aromatics. So you want to do onions, celery. I love carrots because they bring sweetness to it, so I add that. I personally just go and get the poultry blend, and that's some rosemary, thyme, and then sage goes so well with all of these meats. And then I add some tomato sauce because tomato sauce adds acidity, and it also just brightens up all of these rich flavors. And it wouldn't be a delicious burgoo without some potatoes. Of course, you could use like sweet potatoes, but I love these sorts of potatoes. And then you add 2 quarts of water. And you can use stock, but you want to think that all of these meats are going to give off their juices and they're going to be absorbed. So it's delicious with just water. And then after you do that, you end up with
the magic of TV. There you go.
A beautiful bowl of burgoo. So it's as fast. It's so fast that you can make it during a weeknight. It makes plenty that you can freeze, or you can just store it in the refrigerator covered for a few days and just eat on it as you would like. It is definitely something that's delicious. Cooked the day before, the flavors kind of meld together, and then you can serve it the next day. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a weeknight dinner without maybe a beverage. And I think that the richness of burgoo goes really well with something that has a little bit of sourness to it, a little bit of tang, like an IPA. You can also do a nut brown ale. A nut brown ale is going to complement those smoky, unctuous flavors that are inside of the burgoo. And then the stout, this particular stout, starts sweet and then finishes just kind of bitter, and that's the perfect counterpoint to burgoo.
And people can try that all here at Against the Grain on Saturday. Thank you so much for showing that off. Reporting live at Against the Grain, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
I might try that this weekend. That looks so good. Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, in fact, it's like a warm stew kind of situation as well. It's perfect for a day like today where we're so chilly to start off, and especially for the weekend as well when we're going to be even colder than where we are for today. So for those of you heading out, I've been saying this for most of the morning, bundle up. We're in the upper teens and low 20s right now. Something to keep in mind as well is that you may have to budget the extra time to get rid of some frost on your windshield if you parked outside. Kathleen said it took her about 2 to 3 minutes to get the frost off of her vehicle, but that was way earlier in the morning. We're at 20 degrees right now in Prospect, 19 in Crestwood, and in Sellersburg, 23 for those of you in Fairdale. Good morning. Looking towards downtown Louisville, things are quiet and calm. with those clear skies overhead. And the reason that we have the clear skies and the calm winds this morning, high pressure that is sitting right over us right now. So as you continue throughout the rest of the morning, we're going to keep our skies clear. All of that sunshine will help us to warm into the low to mid 50s for our highs. More of those clouds roll in for later on tonight ahead of our next system. And the clouds that we see overnight will keep us from cooling down too much as we get into early on your Thursday. So for tomorrow morning, we will be waking up to temperatures in the upper 20s and the low 30s. As we look ahead to the next 10 days, we do have some rain in the forecast. Notice we have those rain chances showing up on your Thursday and into Friday as a cold front moves through. So here's what we're looking at for tomorrow, starting off dry and cloudy across the area. Once we get closer to about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, the rain will start to move in. We'll watch those temperatures hovering into the 50s overnight as the rain becomes more widespread. And check out what happens as we get into your Friday morning. Notice 6 a.m. sitting well into the 50s still at this point. And then as we continue through the morning and into the afternoon towards lunchtime, by lunch and into the afternoon, we're down into the upper 30s and the low 40s at that point. So certainly going to be a lot colder across the area as we get into your Friday afternoon as well. Overall, we're not looking at a lot of rain. Most of us talking about half an inch to an inch of rain with this system as it moves through. Now, checking out the rest of your 10 days, seeing colder weather showing up behind that front that moves through on Friday. So for your Saturday and Sunday, we're talking about highs into the upper 30s and the low 40s. Those lows down into the teens and low 20s. So the weekend is going to be chilly during the day and during the night. So keep that in mind if you have any plans to be out and about. Now, once we get into Monday, that is when spring, astronomical spring, officially begins. We'll see a pretty decent warm up behind that, getting into the 50s by the middle of next week, 60s by the end of next week, and by next Thursday and Friday, we're talking about multiple chances of rain showing up in the forecast. Shannon?
Thanks, Q. Tawana. All right, I'm here with Kathleen. We know going to the grocery store can be so expensive these days, especially if you buy organic, but there are some things that you really should buy organic.
Absolutely. So there's this group called the Environmental Working Group, and every single year they put out the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So they're taking USDA data, U.S. Department of Agriculture testing data about the pesticides that are on certain produce. And they are telling you the Clean 15 are the ones that are pretty clean anyway.
So you can just buy, you don't have to buy organic.
Regular, you can save the cash, and then the Dirty Dozen, which you really might want to buy organic because there are a lot of pesticides detected on them.
Okay, I'm fascinated by this.
So we're gonna test your guesses.
And Shannon. I did not look at the answers prior.
So, no cheating here at Wave News. So blueberries, what do you think? Clean 15 or Dirty Dozen?
I'm going to say Dirty Dozen.
And indeed, you're right. This is actually a new addition to the list.
Oh, it is?
Blueberries. Bummer there because they're such a superfood.
Yeah.
But you might want to buy them organic.
Kids love them.
There you go. Green beans, what do you think?
I'm going to say Clean 15.
They're actually Dirty Dozen as well.
Really?
I know, such a cheap staple, and yet there you go. Okay, mushrooms.
Clean 15.
Because you figure one of these has to be Clean 15 sometime, huh? Carrots, my favorite.
You should see the way she eats carrots. It's crazy.
For breakfast.
It's crazy. I'm going to say Clean 15 for you.
Apparently, I don't need to buy organic carrots.
You're lucky. That would have been a huge budget item for you.
So spinach and kale
I'm going to say Dirty Dozen.
And indeed, you're right. Apparently, a lot of pesticides are recognized on this. And then sweet potatoes, so cheap, so good. Clean 15. You got it. So there are just a few, but there are Clean 15 and a Dirty Dozen. So let's look at the full thing. So Dirty Dozen, strawberries, cherries, blueberries, grapes, pears, peaches, nectarines. I know, strawberries. And some of your peppers, your bell peppers, your hot peppers, all those leafy greens. Okay, but your Clean 15, here's where we're saving cash.
Avocados. That's good. Mangoes.
That's great news. Kiwi, carrots, sweet potatoes, onion, papaya, honeydew, watermelon, pineapple, cabbage, mushrooms. Really some good options there. If you're getting sweet peas, they better be frozen. Apparently.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't buy
sweet peas fresh? Anyway, so there is a little bit of information to go in armed with into the grocery store.
That's terrific. All right. That was fun. Thank you, Kathleen. All right. 6:21 now. We'll be right back. Well, if you work in downtown Louisville, here's something fun to do after work. It's a new weekly street party. It's called the Sports Park Social. Kicks off today. It's going on at the Baird Urban Sports Park. So even if you're not part of the Pickleball League, they have other things going on. Against the Grain will be there. They'll have some beer, and so some food trucks will be on site too. Part of Washington Street will be shut down for this. The head of the Downtown Louisville Partnership says it's about getting more people to stick around downtown.
Well, last year we ran fall leagues at the Baird Urban Sports Park, and they were a lot of fun. But it's such a unique space, and we wanted more people to enjoy it and to see it, and just have another opportunity for people to be together in this cool space in downtown.
The Sports Park Social starts today. It'll run every Wednesday and Thursday through May 18th. It's from 5:30 to 8, so lots of fun things to do. Baird Urban Sports Park is where it's at. That's at 615 West Main Street. So for people who are going there today, Tawana, a little chilly.
50s for highs later on this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow starting off dry and cloudy, but by the time you reach the late afternoon into the evening, some rain will be moving towards us. That rain will move out come Friday morning, but keep in mind temperatures are going to be falling down throughout our Friday morning. So we're going to start off the day in those 50s. By the time we reach the afternoon, seeing those upper 30s and low 40s across wave country. Looking at the rest of the 10-day, sunshine and some cold air taking over for the weekend. So the weekend, definitely a chilly kind of weekend, and I'm talking about make sure that pot is just thick, whether you do noodles or not. Once we head later on into next week, once spring begins, that's going to help to kick off a decent warming trend. By the end of next week, we're talking 60s for highs, and also going to be keeping an eye on some rain chances towards next Thursday and Friday. Shannon.
Thank you. Governor Andy Beshear says more than $32 million will be used to improve drinking water and infrastructure across Kentucky. The money comes from the American Rescue Plan. This will support 75 water projects in 19 counties. The governor says he hopes to work with state lawmakers to keep improving infrastructure.
Today's announcements are about what is possible when we come together and stop worrying about the letter behind someone's name and worry more about the families in Kentucky that need our help.
Nearly $2 million will be used in Hardin County to expand water service to almost 100 households. It is 6:27. Breaking news this morning, a crash shutting down all the lanes of Brownsboro Road. This is near I-264. We're going to have a live update from that scene coming up next.
This is Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning to you. It is 6:30. I'm Shannon Kogan alongside meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and winter just won't quit.
Up until literally the last second, right until we go into spring, we're going to be incredibly cold. I know you said you had a soccer game that you have to go to for your kid on Saturday morning. Oh, yeah. Windy, cold. You're going to just be texting me and be like, this is awful.
This is why I keep 2 blankets in my trunk.
You might need 3.
Okay, great.
But for those of you heading out this morning, we're definitely talking about the cold air settling in. So we're seeing quite a few locations now into the upper teens, 19 degrees in Seymour, Litchfield, and in Campbellsville. Same thing for those of you in Frankfort, 18 degrees right now in Salem. Everybody else in the low 20s, except for the airport in Louisville, currently at 30 degrees. Now, with the clear skies that we're dealing with and these temperatures well below the freezing mark, you're going to need to budget some extra time, around 5 to 10 minutes, to get some of that frost off of your windshield this morning. Make sure you completely clear it before you start driving. I'm just going to give you the heads up now. I mentioned those clear skies across the area, seeing exactly that on our satellite and radar, and that is because of high pressure that's going to be over us for today. So as we continue throughout the day, easily warming into the 50s for highs with the help of that sunshine. And while you need the ice scraper this morning, certainly need that coat as well. And don't forget the sunglasses as well, so you can look pretty cool as you're heading out. Now, something else that we're going to have to keep an eye on, the pollen counts. Going to be seeing those very high for tree pollen for today and for tomorrow as well. So if you have allergies, today and tomorrow may be a couple of rough days. But rain moves in once we get into the second half of your Thursday, and that is going to help to usher in some colder air and, of course, help to wash a lot of that pollen out of the atmosphere as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the colder air that's coming our way post-front for the weekend in just a bit.
All right, thank you. We're following breaking news right now. A crash on the ramp from I-264 west to US 42 has closed the ramp and also all lanes of Brownsboro Road. Josh Ninke is there live right now to tell us the very latest. Josh?
Hey, Shannon, we just got to the scene just a little while ago, and you can tell that there was definitely that accident here at the end of the 264 westbound ramp. We have one vehicle that you can see right here behind me. I'll get out of the way of the camera so you can zoom in just a little bit better and show you what we're looking at. We see at least one tire blown out of that. And I'll tell you, all across Brownsboro Road here, as some of these cars are driving by, getting off of the westbound off-ramp, you can hear them running over all sorts of debris. So from what I'm seeing right here, you can see some cars coming here off this westbound ramp, and they cannot turn left onto Brownsboro, but they can turn right. On our way here, we were heading eastbound, and they do have that ramp shut down coming here onto Brownsboro Road. We don't have a lot of information at this point, but KSP Post 5 is the one who's handling this. We've also got LMPD who's out here. They're helping out basically just to keep the roadway shut down. They expect this to be blocked for a period of time. There's not really a lot that we know. We've got an investigator over here taking some pictures of this one disabled vehicle that we have out here, but we are not expecting this to open up anytime soon. I'm going to pop back into frame here just to let you guys know that, yeah, we'll be out here keeping an eye on all of what's going on and keep you updated, especially when this road opens back up and if we find out any more information about what exactly happened here. Live here in Louisville, Josh Stinky, Wave News.
All right, Josh, thank you. Yeah, we know Brownsboro can be very busy during the morning rush hour, so we'll stay on top of that for you. The FBI, LMPD, and J-Town police are investigating a murder and a missing persons case. They've been doing this now for a long time, years in fact, and law enforcement just returned to this house on Ottawa Avenue in the Beachmont neighborhood to take a look again. On Monday, our crew saw a cadaver dog and digging equipment at the scene. Police said this is in relation to the murder of 27-year-old Teresa McCoy and the disappearance of Austin Gamez. In December of 2017, McCoy was found shot to death inside an SUV on Strawberry Lane, and police are still looking for Gamez and suspects in this case as well. They said the person at the house is not considered to be involved. LMPD says to protect the investigation, though, they're not releasing more details. We're learning more about a JCPS principal who was arrested. Leroy Little Sr. is charged with terroristic threatening and assault. It was his first day on the job at Olmsted Academy North when police arrested him. Hillview police say he attacked another man who was with his ex-girlfriend on Christmas Day. The Olmsted Academy North assistant principal is now in charge of the school, and JCPS is investigating. No one was hurt during a chemical release in New Albany. Now authorities are trying to determine the cause of that chemical release. Floyd County Emergency Management said that orange plume was in the air near the Bluegrass Chemical Specialties plant on Industrial Boulevard. The company said the chemicals were a byproduct of the plant, similar to what comes out of a tailpipe of a car. Workers are trying to determine how much of the chemical was released.
It has happened in the past. It's not happened to this scale. The reaction was proceeding at a rate that we could not get it to the scrubbers quickly enough, and it filled up our building. And after it filled our building, of course, it released into the air.
IU Southwest and Mount Tabor Elementary School were ordered to shelter in place after that chemical was released. Kentucky lawmakers are closer now to reopening the former youth detention center in downtown Louisville. The bill was passed by the Senate, and it designates $13 million to reopen the center. It would be run by the state, but with the help of the city when it comes to social services for the teens, like community resources and support, mental health treatment, and education. This is happening after Wave troubleshooters uncovered problems in Kentucky's juvenile justice centers. The bill also limits the amount of times juveniles are in detention before their first hearing. It is now 6:36. Tawana?
Over the next 12 hours, going to see those temperatures going from the teens and low 20s where we are right now into the 50s for highs later on this afternoon. So a pretty decent warm-up coming our way. But once we head into tomorrow, the rain is going to be showing right back up. I'll break down those chances in just a bit.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $4.4 billion in grants and scholarships.
Well, the new season of PNC Broadway in Louisville is being announced here, live, right now, this morning. Sharing the details is President Leslie Broker. And this list, oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
It has been hard
this season.
Hardest secret to keep, right? For this many months.
It's awesome. Okay, so take us through. What does it kick off with?
Well, we kick off with Wicked. It's been 8 years since it's been here. It'll be here in October. It celebrates its 20th anniversary on Broadway this October. So we go Wicked, then we launch into Tina, the Tina Turner musical.
Oh,
what a great, I love that you get the backstory and a great bio musical. Then the next one is Frozen.
Oh my God, this is going to be so hard to get a ticket for.
It will be here for 2 weeks because we knew it was going to be a ticket in demand.
Good.
So double our normal, you know, run of performances. Then we don't always get plays. And so coming up next is Clue, which if you love playing the board game, if you want to know what happened to Mrs. Peacock or Professor Plum, this will be it. It's funny, it's mystery, it's a whodunit.
Love it.
Then some people say this is the headliner, but I've been having trouble picking. Six the Musical, which is the sellout show on Broadway. This is the story, we say not history, but herstory, of the 6 queens of Henry VIII, you know, which are beheaded, died, you know, etc. So they go through and sing. As you can see, it's very forward to the audience. It's an 85-minute show, no intermission. The band is on stage, all gals in the band, and it's just powerful. It's really
I've not heard of that.
It is such a high energy show, and you really have to fight to get a ticket in New York. So I'm tickled. And then we close the season with Beetlejuice.
Woo!
Beetlejuice. So you know, everybody loves the movie. Tim Burton's magic is re-envisioned for the stage. It just closed on Broadway. So it's a very current, you know, I think a little something for every season.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. So we have 5 Louisville premieres.
That's right.
And then Wicked is returning.
And Wicked is returning, which was supposed to come back earlier during the pandemic, but we finally got it rebooked, and it's one of our most requested.
That's great. Okay, so you just made the announcement today. When can people start getting tickets for all the shows?
Right now.
Yep, okay,
we
just
went
go
on
your
sale
website.
about 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so just where do they go?
Go to BroadwayInLouisville.com, and you can pick your seats.
Fabulous. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excited. Tawana, what's on your list?
I wrote them down. Wicked, Frozen, Six, and Beetlejuice. I have to admit, I was belting Defying Gravity in the weather office earlier this morning. Thankfully, no one else heard me. So for those of you who are heading out this morning, just blast whatever you want to in your car, but Defying Gravity is definitely a good one. As we are dealing with the cold weather, I'll talk a little bit more about the warm-up and then the rain chances coming our way in just 30 seconds. Good morning, everyone, and it's a cold morning out there, but you can't tell that from our SkyTrack camera looking towards downtown Louisville. Just looks quiet, but certainly traffic starting to pick up right along the bank of the Ohio River. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on the roads, of course, for you this morning, but the frost is something that could slow you down as you're heading out, because keep in mind, we are seeing the clear skies and very cold temperatures, waking up to temperatures in the upper teens and low 20s across the region right now. So it is very chilly as you're heading out of the airport in Louisville, though. It is 30 degrees, but due to that urban heat island effect, tends to be significantly warmer than everywhere else. The clear skies across the region and the light winds that we are dealing with right now are helping with our temperatures falling a little bit more before the sun comes up, and of course helping with that frost that you're seeing across the area this morning. So budget around 5 to 10 minutes to deal with that. High pressure is going to stay with us throughout the day today and help us to enjoy what will be a beautiful Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine across the region for today. Not really seeing any clouds coming into the mix really until later on this evening. So with all of that sunshine, easily warming over the next 12 hours into the low to mid 50s for your high. So right around where we should be for this time of the year. I mentioned those clouds moving in. They will roll in as we get towards sunset, and we'll keep them around for tonight as well. And these will basically act like a blanket. We are going to get chilly tonight, but not as cold as what we're dealing with right now. So as we get into tomorrow morning, we'll be around 10 to 20 degrees warmer in some spots, but overall we're talking about upper 20s and low 30s for our lows come your Thursday morning. Now as you look ahead to the next 10 days, we do have spring officially beginning on Monday, but before we get to that point, we do have to deal with some colder weather, and that comes after after the cold front that moves through later on your Friday. So what we're going to be seeing for tomorrow, the clouds continuing to stick around through the morning hours. I still think this particular model is just a little bit too slow. I think some of that rain will move in once we get closer to around 7, 8 o'clock on your Thursday evening. The rain will continue to move through as we get into Friday morning. Now notice 6 a.m. on Friday, still well into the 50s at this point. But once that front moves through on Friday morning, look what happens to your temperatures. Boop, we drop all the way down into the upper 30s and the low 40s by the time we reach your Friday afternoon. A lot of that rain should be out of our region at that point, which is some good news there. Now, for your Friday, we see those falling temperatures, and we stay cold through the weekend, seeing those temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s for both your Saturday and Sunday. Then once we get beyond the beginning of spring on Monday, we gradually warm up, eventually ending up into the 60s as we get into the beginning of Ramadan on Thursday. And we're seeing some rain showing up as well for the end of next week. Shannon?
Thanks, Tawana. All right, we're following more breaking news this morning. 5 people are now displaced after a fire that happened very early this morning. It was in the Russell neighborhood. It was at a duplex right off of Magazine Street and Dr. W.J. Hodges Street. The fire department sending us these pictures. You can see a lot of flames coming from that house. They were dispatched about 4:47 this morning. They got there really quickly, less than 5 minutes, but 24 firefighters worked to bring this fire under control, but that home is badly damaged. The cause is electrical, and the Red Cross is now helping those 5 people who are now displaced. It is 6:47, and today is a special holiday. You may not know it. It is called World Essential Workers Day, Kathleen.
A good day to show appreciation for people like those firefighters who battled that fire early this morning, healthcare workers, any other first responders, anybody in those critical roles. World Essential Workers Day, yeah, it sounds like a pandemic-era holiday because it is. It was started in 2021, and this is my favorite part, by a 9-year-old girl named Janae Ratcliffe. She said she wanted to honor people like her mom, who's a social worker. So today we honor those essential workers. Maybe say a thank you, maybe to you out there, maybe donate to a related charity. I would like to throw my thank you out to foster care workers. I would believe a lot of foster children got so forgotten during the pandemic, and those people stayed right by them.
Yeah, well, healthcare workers for sure. Workers. We needed them, and boy, they went to work, and there were so many unknowns. So scary, right?
Every single day, that's what they showed up to work for us.
Right. Well, thank you, Kathleen. Yeah. And if you're a special worker, we want to say thank you to you. All right, how does burgoo sound to you? And maybe a little bourbon, too. The Burgoo Bash is going on to Saturday. Why did I, for a second, thought it was Friday? I wish. Olivia Russell is live at Against the Grain in downtown Louisville. Yeah, it's still Wednesday, so we have a few days to go to get there.
Shannon, you're just so excited about the Burgoo Bash. How about that, right? So we're talking about Burgoo. We're talking about the Monks Road Cocktail Contest, but it's all for a bigger cause. It's all going to Apron Inc. So I have Robin here with Apron Inc. First of all, tell us what you all do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us this morning. We're excited to be here. So Apron Inc. has been around for 11 years, and we exist to help the struggling restaurant worker of an independent restaurant who's struggling financially through no fault of their own. So that means they've either had an accident or an illness, something happened to their car, something happened to their house, they've had a flood, all of these kinds of things. And we provide grants almost every week, actually, to people who need it.
How important are fundraisers like this for you all?
Oh, my gosh. First of all, we'd love to raise friends, and we'd love to tell people about the amazing restaurant and culinary world that we have here in Louisville, because as you know, we have an amazing one. So that's really important to us. And then the funds that we raise go directly to those grants. So we're a small organization that directly pushes those monies to the people that we fund. And instead of sending that money directly to the person, we actually send it to the bills that they're trying to pay. And so a story I heard the other day about somebody that we granted a few years ago, we were able to help with the grant. She was able to help reduce her rent for 3 months in a row, allowing cash flow. So it brought her rent down to like $200 a month in a time where she really needed it.
That's huge and so important. And as we pointed out, this Burgoo Bash benefiting Apron Inc. Such a great cause. So it's happening this Saturday from 3 o'clock until, is it 5 or 6?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. All right, I added an extra hour because we are that excited for it. You can get tickets at the door or online. $10 for the tasting and $15 if you want a beer with it, too. I mean, who doesn't? If you're going to be at Against the Grain, might as well. Reporting live at Against the Grain, Olivia Russell, Wave News. Stick with us. More Sunrise right after the break.
Josh Ninke live here at 264 in Brownsboro Road, reminding you about this accident that we've been covering throughout the morning. We still don't have a ton of information, but several vehicles involved in an accident that has Brownsboro Road shut down. I want to remind you that. And also the westbound ramp from 264 here to Brownsboro Road also shut down as KSP continues to investigate. LMPD also out here at the scene, but it is KSP who is investigating everything that's going on out here. We've seen several vehicles, plenty of debris out in the street as we figure out what's going on here. Obviously, this is going to have a pretty big impact on a lot of people's commutes throughout the morning. We don't know how long this is going to be shut down, but of course, we'll let you know when we know. Live here in Louisville, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thank you, Josh. I'm Kathleen Ninke with this Wave News Alert on the other big stories we're watching today. A hearing in federal court today on medication abortions. A lawsuit is seeking to overturn the FDA's approval of a certain abortion drug, trying to take it off the market nationwide. That hearing is today, but the decision from that federal judge in Texas might not be for weeks. And the fallout continues after a U.S. drone like this one was forced down over the Black Sea by a Russian fighter jet. The U.S. European Command says that Russian jet intentionally flew in front of and dumped fuel on the drone yesterday. Russia's denying any wrongdoing, but President Biden's been briefed, and we're expecting more reaction and possibly action from the White House today. And you are looking live at the streets of Burlington, Vermont. Look at that snow. You can see it blowing a little bit past this camera. The hope is that the powerful nor'easter is moving out of New England today, but there are likely weather-related problems still ahead for the region. High winds today. You can see it going on the live stream. They're likely looking at more power outages as those temps stay very low. Tawana?
And, of course, a quick look at the roads, still keeping an eye on that incident in the Waterston and Brownsboro Road. Remember, it's going to take them a while to get this cleared up, so you're going to have to find another route, basically from near Rudy Lane over towards Brownsboro is where we're seeing that closure right now. And for those of you heading out, overall clear skies, so grab not just the sunglasses but the coats as we're waking up the temperatures in the teens and low 20s right now. Just completely bundle up. Over the next 12 hours, easily warming up into the 50s for our highs with all of that sunshine in the forecast. And looking at the next 10 days, we see rain moving in for your Thursday evening across the area. That rain will move out come Friday morning. Keep in mind, Friday's afternoon temperatures will be in the upper 30s and the low 40s. So Friday is going to be quite cold, windy and cold for the weekend as well. Spring begins on Monday, and we do look to have a decent warm-up as we get towards the end of next week. But behind that Friday system for next week, yeah, it looks pretty cold again. So here we go, the ups and downs. We're used to the roller coaster.
So spring begins calendar-wise, but we'll still be wearing the winter clothes.
Basically for a while.
Well, it's a good thing we had the St. Patrick's Parade last week.
Last week,
much better. Yeah, it was nice.
Otherwise, everyone's just going to be like,
that's not fun.
Shivering.
Yeah, hard to drink green beer when it's so cold.
Oh, yeah, just give me ice.
Thanks for joining us. Today's show's up next.
Get live streaming